rising sun, dreams unfold. Whistles the wind, stories untold. From Massachusetts, land of old, to Ohio's heart, where tales are bold. Family hugs, packed and gone, chasing horizons, chasing dawn. Winding roads we journey on, new beginnings, new songs spawn. From Mass to Ohio, hearts of fear break, breaking chains, our path is clear. From Mass to Oleon, dreams take flight into the darkness, embrace the night. Peaceful scenes, sunsets glowed, birds chirp aloud, rivers flowed. Fields of wildflowers, destiny showed, but shadows loom as chaos grows. Steel and fire, tombs turn dark, mighty sounds ignite the spark. Brutal riffs like wolfpack bark, Ohio calls, leave your mark. From Mass to Ohio, hearts of fear break, breaking chains, our path is clear. From Mass to Oleon, dreams take flight into the darkness, embrace the night. From Mass to Ohio, hearts in fear break, breaking chains, our path is clear. From Mass to Oleon, dreams take flight into the darkness, embrace the night.
Oh, man, how's it going?
What's up?
I'm sorry. I'm a little excited tonight, buddy.
Oh, I forgot I had Twitch not muted on my screen, so I just heard you yell at me.
Good, I'm glad. I'm glad. That's what I'm here for, to yell at you specifically, Alex. That is my character specifically. That isn't my character at all, as it were. So, I think let's start from the beginning. Let's recap from last week. How did we do on picks? What were the final scores last week, sir?
I mean, we were pretty evenly matched. I mean, I had a 9-7 slate, and you came in at 7-9.
All right, that's not
Yeah.
terrible.
I mean, we had 4 games where we just blew up and didn't. 4 games we thought were locks ended up not being locks. Let's just put it that way.
That's the beautiful thing
You
about
had
this
some
sport.
bigger upsets though.
I know I picked Cleveland and they won.
So you picked the Saints blowing out Dallas.
I actually told you it was going to be a blowout too, so
Yeah, and then you had
I'm proud of myself for that
you
one.
have the Cardinals blowing out the. You have the Cardinals blowing out the Rams, or just beating them straight
I
up.
think I just picked them, beating them straight up, and Marvin Harrison to actually do something.
Apparently, he had like more receiving yards in that game than his dad did in a single game.
No, I'm pretty sure he tied his dad's record or something stupid. It was something about him and his dad. But regardless, it's wild to me. Like, he went from kind of a dud.
I gotta confirm this. I saw that he had more in the first half than his dad.
He might have had more in the first half, but I think I thought he was the first player since his dad to do something as a rookie. Which I think
give
was
me like
funny.
2 seconds. Give me like 2 seconds to actually figure this out.
You've had 2 seconds, sir. It's actually been like 5 seconds.
Well, hold on.
Sir, you can't ask me for 2 seconds and then try to get away with 5 seconds. This isn't basketball.
You have to give me a few minutes, so if you wanna, I look this up here.
All right, prepared live broadcasting, right? Who knew? Who knew that we weren't prepared? I did. We've done this 12 times, and 12 times have we not been prepared. So, you know what? That's 100%. We're perfect, Alex. We're quite literally perfect right now. Well, I'll roll on to baseball.
Okay, his dad. No. His dad, September 26, 1999, had 196 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, baseball.
Wait, so how many did he have you cut out?
196, about 25 years ago to the day.
But it was the same amount of yards?
No, senior had 196.
What did junior have?
He had 130 because he didn't get the ball after that.
I mean, that's still... I'm not going to be upset with a 130-yard day, right? Like if I make 130 receiving yards...
fantasy team, sure.
He literally kept me from being blown out by you. Because, you know what? I think we move on kind of continuing down the fantasy football train. Obviously, you beat me in fantasy by like 1.5 points or something. Despite the fact I start Tua. I can never pronounce his last name. It's Tua. It's Tua time, but I don't think it's Tua time any longer.
Are we going to segue?
Yeah,
segue
that was the segue. Unfortunately, I don't think it's Tua time any longer.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that just with the frequency of his concussions, that you can't put him out there without risking something greater that we've probably seen in other athletes in that situation.
You mean like your favorite wide receiver ever, Antonio Brown?
I mean, he's not my favorite, but
he's my favorite Madden curse.
He was cursed before the Madden cover.
No, he is. It was clearly just the Madden curse. You can't convince me otherwise. It's like Peyton Hillis.
Was it because the hit that ended his career was in Cincinnati?
I didn't actually know that. Was it Vontaze Burfict that hit him?
It was a perfect. Yep, it was a perfect.
I'm sorry, Vontaze is his first name, not Bontez. Which, by the way, can we talk about the fact that the dude's last name was Perfect, which is kind of what you'd expect someone to say after they've been hit in the head too many times, to try to say perfect.
Yeah, and I'm going to go back to it here.
Sorry.
Almost immediately, you had 3 trains of thought about what to do with him.
Mm-hmm.
You had the crowd that said, medically retire him on the spot. And then what the Dolphins are going to do, which I think ended up being what they did, was put him on IR. And I don't think he has a designation to come back, which I think it's as of right now, he's not designated to come back, at least for the next month. But I think it might be a lot longer than that.
So I think his season is done, and unfortunately, I really do think his career is. I think hopefully his career is done, and I hate saying that because I think he's a great quarterback. I've picked him in fantasy every year the last 4 or 5 years. Like I actually truly believe in the guy, but he puts up fantastic numbers. But I care more what your quality of life is going to be after you step away from the game, right? Like. And with that many head injuries, how likely are you to potentially be not all there enough to not be able to have a great quality of life? And if you don't have a great quality of life, what do you have? Like, at the end of the day, honestly, what do you have? Because, like, does it become that $124 million left on his contract's literally not worth it because of the mental distress on him and then the emotional distress on his family and loved ones?
Yeah, and I think with that, like what Mike McDaniel said post game, this is just to be the quarterback of his family. That was, in my mind, the perfect thing he had to say. He's like, I think it's going to potentially influence the course of action, not just on the Dolphins side, but on Tua's side.
Oh,
I think McDaniel was making sure that he put his future first before football. That's kind of what you have to do at this point.
No, I agree, and I think it comes down to we've seen what hand injuries do to players. We see what it does to them. You see what those things do to those guys, and it's like, how much of it is not worth it when you can't do anything post your career because you literally beat yourself up too much. You went too hard, and you just no longer will get to enjoy like what you did, right? To some extent. At least that's my opinion. I understand Tua's a competitor, and he's probably. I hope that McDaniel and everyone in the Dolphins training staff is looking at him and saying, "Hey, bud, like, it's not that we don't think you're good enough to play football. It's not that we don't think you compete hard enough. It's we want you to be able to enjoy life for a little bit. Like, maybe you do step away from the game. Maybe you do." I think he'd be a great quarterbacks coach, honestly. I think he could get a position around the NFL. Because he was wasn't he like the best passer last year, which is kind of ridiculous. He was out for like 3-4 weeks with a concussion, and he still was near the top of the passing charts.
I think he had the most yards.
So clearly the skill is there, right? Like that's the point I'm trying to make. Clearly the skill is there to the point where I think if I'm the Dolphins, hey, can we spin him into our quarterback's room in a different light, right? Can he mentor up someone? He's still young enough that he can connect with these kids coming right out of college, right? He hasn't been out of school that long. He's got to be like 2018, 2019, right?
I think it was 2020. I think he was in that Burrow draft class.
Okay, I'm just saying it was around the. I was gonna say he was either slightly pre-COVID or just slightly post-COVID, right? Like,
yeah.
So I think he's still young enough where he'll be able to connect with these young quarterbacks coming in, right? That he could potentially mentor them from a, hey, you got to really think about yourself a little bit standpoint. Like, look at what happened to my career. Like, and I think that'd be great. I think any team would be lucky to have him on a coaching staff, being able to talk to players at that level.
Yeah, and I want to go back to the contract for a bit because when I pitched this idea to you this morning, I was actually reading a couple of things about it. Mm-hmm. And I think when they negotiated his deal that he signed, I think, the summer, like midsummer, I think, is that should this situation happen, so it's with the 124 left. So retires on his own. Unless he makes a settlement with the Dolphins, he's leaving that on the table. Mm-hmm. But then he can collect it, medically retire, and that's kind of I think there's more to it, but I think the basis of him being having the right to collect it is upon medical retirement. Mm-hmm. They still get this pit, so his signing bonus is still going to get paid out no matter what because that's part of his guarantee. But they're splitting his signing bonus into like $8 million increments, so he's going to get.
So he'll get paid.
He's going to get his guarantees. Yeah.
Which, I mean, that's good. At least he'll have something like. And I know we're talking on the scheme of millions of dollars, and we make in the tens of thousands of dollars, like being young men working in sports or around sports. In your case, currently. So we make in the tens of thousands of dollars, like being less than $100,000 a year. So saying, oh, well, it's only $8 million, like, but it is. It's only $8 million. Like, That's a lot of money, and you can do really well on $8 million a year for 4 years, right? Like, you play that right, you can be set for life. But
yeah, and that's more than some low roster guys will get in their entire career.
Well,
so you got to figure it that way.
Also not wrong. But my point remains, like, when he has adopted a lifestyle, I can only assume, because we're human and we adapt to what we have. And when you have the means for a lot of stuff, he's probably adopted a lifestyle to that, right? So how much of that is he's going to live, it would be very rough for him. And I hate to say that because, again, saying, oh, a guy that makes $8 million a year is living a rough life, like, it feels hypocritical. But it's I kind of understand it, and I see these guys that do get that first big check and they don't know what to do, and they didn't plan financially for retirement or whatever, especially in these high impact sports like football. And then how often do you see a dude's just like out on his ass pretty shortly after his career because he doesn't know how to manage money? Not as much now, but I feel like it definitely happened.
Yeah, it's like, I think the way that you see Tua outside of football, you know that he's one of those guys that seems like he knows how to handle with the amount of money that he's making. Because you would have heard him getting into other stuff if he was into being reckless with money and all. That would have been public, but the way that he keeps a lower profile, so like you can tell that he at least has things where they need to be. And I feel like he's always accommodating for. I feel like a lot of the guys that don't crash and burn their money, they put it somewhere to where once they're done, they can just access it more.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna agree with you, and I think I'm hoping. I can't say I think. I'm saying I'm hoping. I'm hoping that's kind of what he did, and he kind of planned for, my career is going to be 4, 5, 6 years max, right? Like how much did he pre-plan, knowing just his own injury history, and then the NFL as a whole? How many more concussions are we seeing in the NFL than guys in college? Like, there are guys that won't get one concussion in all of college, and then they're 4 years into the NFL and they've had 3 concussions already. Like, that happens, unfortunately. I think it's the speed of the game, it's the way they hit, it's the way they just present themselves.
You can only change the rules so much, but if you're trying to tell a guy that, if you're trying to tell like a 190-pound defensive back that how to change their hit angle when sometimes they're coming in at an angle they can't control, because if you're trying to tell guys how to, the rules on how to hit so much before, like, you're going to have those once in a while where somebody can't control their own momentum and there is the helmet to helmet. But even then, it's like, I've seen the hit so many times now that it makes me wonder, like, what if he slid? Like, how would things be if he slid?
No, that's fair. And honestly, I didn't see the hit. I really didn't watch the game. I was just I was busy last Thursday. I'm not going to lie to you. I was doing other stuff, so I didn't get to watch the game. But I obviously I know Tua got hurt. He's my fantasy quarterback.
Yeah,
he got like 8 points. I was like, oh, we're fucked. But that's not.
Sum it up for you. So I think I'm going to pull this up so I can be accurate here. All right. So basically what happened is that he rolled up. He is a quarterback run, gets the first down, but he lunged forward.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he lunged forward, his helmet went into the mark. Yeah, he more like fell forward. So it's like he didn't get himself up, but he like lunged forward to get the extra yards.
Mm-hmm.
then his head hit Damar Hamlin like in the bicep, shoulder, interjection.
Yeah, that's gross.
He led with his head too. So like,
Yeah. So but the point I was trying to make is, so let's fast forward to Sunday, the Ravens game. Did you catch the end of it? I know it was on TV here in Cincinnati. I don't know if it was on back home.
I caught the very, very end of it
And
because
the only play I care about is
Northeast, the Jets Titans game had priority.
Yeah, no, that's fine. But the only point I'm trying to make from it is, did you see that very last play where Lamar goes on that big run and then he pitches it back?
Did they try to do the hook and ladder? Is that what they were doing?
Yeah, they're basically the hook and ladder. So Lamar runs up, and everyone's like, "Oh man, if he had just juked this one dude out, like he had a free walk to the end zone," which probably. But how much? If I'm a player, right, and I know that another really good, really dynamic quarterback in the NFL just got a pretty bad concussion 3 days ago, right? Yeah, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Yeah, 3 days ago on Thursday Night Football got a really bad concussion that we don't know if he's going to be on the IR or not. That's got to be sitting in Lamar's head a little bit, right? Like, he has to perform for his team, and being hurt is the least helpful thing he could do. So how much does that weigh on you? And you're like, you know what, I am going to just pitch it right here, because even though I think I could potentially go and get the distance, get the win, I'm not risking my own head, you know? That's what I was thinking the whole time. I was like, did he think about Tua and his concussion? Because I'm not saying Tua and Lamar are the same player, because they're not. I think Lamar is a much more mobile quarterback, and he actually knows how to slide. But because like you see, he like looks up for a second and then he pitches it. So that was my opinion on it, especially after kind of hearing more and more on the Tua stuff as we went through Sunday. But
it's just going to be an issue that doesn't go away.
Oh no, of course not. And
no.
And then I'm going to say that's fine. It's not fine, but it's fine. It's part of life. It's the reality of the situation that we find ourselves in concussions. And
I mean, you guys know what they sign up for. Like, you think they'd on the NFL because they're good at football? It's like they assume the risk of playing football at the same time.
No, you're not wrong.
I mean,
you're very much not wrong.
This was in the same article I was reading about Tua's contract, but it reminded me of when Andrew Luck just kind of said, "I'm good."
So,
like,
when was that?
All preseason,
I know that
he retired.
That was summertime that he retired.
That was preseason. That was before week 1. Yeah.
That was before the preseason, wasn't it?
No, he played like a preseason game, and then he said, "No, I'm good. It's not worth it for my health anymore."
Yeah. So funny story about the Andrew Luck retirement. So as you may or may not know, I went to a lot of New England Revolution games when I lived at home. I love soccer. I played it my whole life. One of my roommates from college is a season ticket holder to the Revs. Shout out Phil. Thanks for bringing me to those games all the time. I appreciate you. But so we went to, it was either, I want to say it was Chicago Fire. Bastian Schweinsteiger was on the Fire, for the record. Mostly, I just remember that because he had a great name and he was a great player.
I don't know who that is.
German defensive player. Very good, very tall, very German. Big, tall, strong dude. His name is Bastian Schweinsteiger, though, and if you can't tell me that's not one of the greatest names in sports ever.
He sounds like he should be a defenseman in the NHL with that kind of name.
Well, so I kind of think that. Right?
I mean, playing defense of any kind, really.
Yeah, no, like the last name Schweinsteiger is just a strong last name. But the point of this is, I remember I had my cell phone in my pocket, and I was going up to get a beer, and I just saw an ESPN alert. Andrew Luck retires at 29 or whatever he was. He was pretty young. I remember when he retired. And I was like, oh, that's fucking weird. I must be drunk if I think that I'm getting an ESPN notification that says Andrew Luck is retiring. And then literally you hear everyone in the stands, like, it's halftime of this game, or maybe it's full time. By the time it really comes through fully and like everyone's checking their phones. But everyone's like, holy shit, Luck retired. And I was blown away by that. I was like, how the hell does that guy like just walk away completely healthy? He just walked away. And honestly, I respect it more and more now. The more I see guys that are getting these concussions and getting Nick Chubb with the ACL stuff, I respect it more and more because of those sort of things.
I mean, honestly, I respect if any guy cites a medical reason for retirement in any sport, I respect it. Because I know it's not worth going through another stress test of a knee or even risking another blow to the head. For example, it's like they've assessed the risk and they just know it's not worth it at this stage in their career.
No, I agree with you, and I think that's a very valid point. So
all being said and done, I do think that the right decision has to be made, whether we know what that is.
And
we're not going to know that for at least, I'd say, 2 weeks.
And to piggyback off your whole, the right decision has to be made. The right decision at the end of the day is the decision Tua makes. It's his life. He is an adult man, and like you said, you do assume the risks of playing this sport. I'm hoping for his family and general quality of life that he does retire. And I hate to say that because I love watching Tua play. I really genuinely love watching Tua play.
You think it's end of the season or on the spot retirement?
I think that comes down to talking to his lawyers and his financial guys and being like, what is the best play for me financially? Can I get paid out different? Can I restructure my contract or something different ways depending on how it goes? Because if he can retire, protect his brain as much as possible, and still get paid, I think that's the best move. And again, I'll be upset if he retires. I'll be upset if he doesn't retire, for the record.
Yeah, and I mean, I think he's like, I'm sure the Dolphins will be more than willing to find a number that works if it goes the route where he doesn't want to claim his full guarantee.
Mm-hmm.
But I know he's gonna make the right call, but I don't think it's not worth having him assess the situation for a month and have him be back on the field in 6 weeks. Like, I don't think it's worth that kind of long-term play. I think the longer-term play is to let him continue having a life.
I
more
agree
so
with
than
you.
having a battered brain.
I agree with you, but again, whatever choice he makes, I'm going to respect it because at the end of the day, he's making a choice for him and his family.
Yeah,
and that they feel is
do you want to say
a choice.
Yeah, and I think, one thing I want to say earlier is that you never know if we're not mad on this podcast. We never claim to be, but you never know like what this concussion might have kind of reawoken from a previous one. So you could clear the protocol, but you could still be dealing with something months, years after an initial concussion. You won't know about it.
No, of course. And I mean, think about it, how much, like, let's go back to something we know. We played high school sports. Did you ever have to take a baseline test in high school?
I never took a hit to the head in high school, so I never had to take like a baseline.
Oh, I had to take a baseline to play soccer. My freshman or sophomore year, we
had to do like a
we all did.
We had to do like a training. We had to do like an online training.
Oh, we had to take.
I don't know if that's what you're talking
We
about.
took an actual baseline. Like my AD was like, "Hey, you guys are all
Really?
going to take a baseline."
It was like you had to follow a finger or something.
Yeah, so there's like a
All that
there's like again, I'm talking about something that I did over 10 years ago. So when I'm wrong, understand it was over 10 years ago that I did this. But basically there's like there's a reading comprehension portion of it, which, as you know, I'm great at reading comprehension. There's like mathematical skills, and then there's like the physical stuff like balancing and following fingers and things like that. Let's just say I took a baseline my freshman or sophomore year of high school, and the only time they referenced it was my senior year when I did get hit in the head. And I shockingly was better than my freshman or sophomore baseline that they had given me. So I think they now actually do it yearly, so which is better.
Oh, I have the NFL concussion checklist, the official one.
And I also played soccer, so obviously heading the ball, you can get a concussion if you do it wrong. And I did it wrong a lot.
I mean, do you want to go through the NFL concussion checklist?
Sure, let's go through the NFL concussion checklist.
This is on the NFL's website, by the way. So
Oh, really?
if you look for it,
I'm pulling it up myself.
if you look up NFL concussion checklist, it should be like the first thing.
5-step concussion protocol and return to participation code protocol overview.
Yeah, there's like a PDF. Yeah, no, there's a PDF. I have like a flow chart, but you have I have the flow chart from like a few years ago.
Right here. Symptom limited activity, aerobic exercise, football specific, club based, non contact, and full football activity clearance. Revised July 2020. Can you just
No matter
link,
what, I
can you
saw
just
it.
link it in the pod doc so I can take a look at it here, sir?
Oh, I just found the whole 19-page document, but that's not what I was looking for.
We do our research here on the Boston Skyline podcast. What the research
do it
is,
live,
we don't know,
so-
but we do the research.
I'll throw it on here, but if there's,
I really should have
if you
named
wanna
this the concussion episode, because apparently it became the concussion episode.
it became the concussion one real fast.
Well, I think we kind of knew it was gonna when we were talking to
I'm gonna put in the one I found because I like that one.
I'm gonna put this one. It might be out of date, but I like it.
I can't put a PDF in there, so we're just gonna avoid that.
Ah, damn. All right. So NFL player health and safety. Is this what you're looking at?
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay. I was on the same page. I just
I was further up.
that's a 2-page document. Concussion game.
I
day
found the
checklist
19-page
2012.
legal. I found the 19-page legal document. So clearly, I was investigating too much.
2011. Love it. I love their concussion protocols from 2011. We're not gonna go down that rabbit hole any longer. We'll
Wanna go to baseball?
Yeah, let's go to baseball. So, if the playoffs were to start before baseball games today, because I assume the last time they updated the postseason website was before this morning's baseball games.
Is there a date on there, or is that just like as of today?
There is no date. In fact, it just says this is the tentative start dates. It says if postseason started today, so I'm gonna make the assumption. This is MLB.com/postseason. If you want to fact check me, but you have to fact check me on September 18th, 2024 at 7:56 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But so
All right,
the
so division win.
let's run through the teams in the playoffs, and obviously we'll be able to cover division winners as we go. AL East, the Yankees are currently the division leader. I think they've clinched the win. If not, they got to be pretty close. And they are the number 1 overall in the American League. Number 2 is the Cleveland Guardians. They're the AL Central. And then the AL West is won by Houston currently, with the 4 spot being Baltimore. So that's AL East. The 5 spot being Kansas City. Kansas City is in the Central, correct? Or are they in the West? I'm always really bad with my baseball divisions, because I know the Twins are in the Central. I don't know where the Royals are. And I'll admit that.
No, the Royals are good this year, man. They're fun.
But are they a West or a Central team?
Central.
They are the Central. I really am terrible at my divisions in baseball. And I just know if they're American League or National League for the most part. Except Houston, I still think they're a National League team most of the time. Yes, I still live in 2005. Yes, I'm okay with this. And then on the National League side, you have Philly, who's the AL or NL East champions, leader currently. Then you have the Dodgers, who are winning the NL West. Everyone is shocked by that. You have the Brewers, who are the NL Central leader. And the 3 spot, the 4 spot is the Padres, who are out of the NL West. The Mets. Remember how the Mets started this year off absolutely crappy? And now they're 5th in the wild card. Also out of the NL East. And then you have NL West Diamondbacks, who, again, no surprise. I'm honestly not surprised by seeing the teams that are in the playoffs if it started today. And I don't really watch baseball. But when you ask me who's good at baseball, I'm going to tell you the Yankees. I'm going to be a little shocked about the Orioles, but I know that they're good at baseball now. The Royals, I'm like, well, that makes sense. They're a name. Houston, again, especially when you get to recency, very good. The Twins have their moments where they're amazing and when they're not amazing, and I think right now we're riding that uptick, where they were when Mauer was on the team, kind of that upswing where they're gonna be good. That being said, if the playoffs were to start today, I'd say my final matchups are probably going to be on the American League side. I'm going to say you're going to have Houston and Baltimore. I don't think there's going to be an upset in the wild card series on the American League side. The National League side, on the other hand, I think both would be upsets. I think the Diamondbacks and Mets would win in the wild card series.
Yeah, so I think Houston will take no issue. It's just I think Kansas City and Baltimore will play a little bit closer of a series than what you'll expect.
So
I think the Orioles take it, but I think the Royals will go down swinging.
Well, I'm gonna say I think the American League series will be better. I think I don't know. I've never been high on the Padres. So I just assume and honestly, with how the Mets have played, especially kind of through the late summer, the grimace era of the Mets, as it were, they they were really good. They were so good for such a stint this season that I was like, oh crap, they're gonna win the World Series. So that's kind of how I look at it. And then I think the Diamondbacks are really good at baseball. So
I think it's
I'm
all
very high
about
on the Diamondbacks.
It's all about who's playing hot baseball going into the postseason. I don't think the full 162 doesn't matter until you get to like the final month.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, unless you're the White Sox, in which case, like, it doesn't matter after like April 3rd, this year. Like, and I'm not shitting on the White Sox for the record. Like, they were just so bad that it was pretty upsetting seeing how bad they were. I wanted them to be good, but they weren't. But not so hot.
You have to try to be that bad enough.
Well, I feel like they got to the point where like, dude, we're so close to the record, it'd be kind of funny. But not so
Dodgers.
hot. My World Series is a World Series we've seen a couple times before. The Philadelphia Phillies and the New York Yankees. And the Yankees take it in 6. That is my prediction right now.
I'm gonna go Dodgers Yankees, but I would love to be wrong about the Yankees. But
I know you would. I really think I love to say it, but I really think the Yankees are back. And I know I say it every year.
So, the Yankees are the Cowboys of the MLB with that kind of this is our year kind of bullshit.
So here. Obviously, I'm a Yankees fan, so it's a little easy to defend it. But here's why I'm going to defend a Yankees. This is our year take is a much better take than a Cowboys. This is our year take.
I mean, they've been saying it every year since 1994, but
so here's the thing. First of all, success. The Yankees are a far more successful franchise. They have 27 World Series rings, and I'm not just throwing that number out to throw that number out. It's a fact. They've won 27 times. Yes, I know they've been a team for like 120 years. So they're 24 for 100 or 27 for 124. And I'm picking, so I realize they're not doing too hot, like win percentage wise. But they have been so they've had so many good teams that didn't win. Like, honestly, the first couple Aaron Judge teams I thought were going to be World Series teams every year because I thought the new young Yankees was something that was fun and exciting and could really, really turn the Yankees around as an organization. And it's funny to say, the most winning franchise in baseball needs to be turned around. But I think they're a better club. Also, I think they're more consistently in the playoffs. So it's easier to be like, well, this is our year. Well, because we're making the postseason every year. Being the Yankees, using a royal we, the Yankees and their fans making the postseason.
I mean, that's been the Yankees kind of brand forever, is that they're always going to be around. So it's like when they suck, you look around and you're like, that's not, even as a Sox fan, like, it doesn't seem right when the Yankees are below third place in a division for any period of time.
So for the record, as a Yankees fan, I find it wild when the Red Sox are kind of in the same sort of boat. Like, they're not necessarily in the race for the wild card. Like, if you ask me what the American League East is, it's the Red Sox and Yankees having the biggest pissing match in the world to see who's going to be top dog every year. That's the American League East. And then you have the Rays and the Orioles and the Blue Jays, who are just kind of frisky, fun teams that, like, ooh, they might make a run this year, but they're not because realistically they can get steamrolled by the Yankees and the Red Sox. You know? And, I mean, I love being wrong, especially when it means the Red Sox aren't going to make the playoffs. But at the end of the day, like, the American League East is very much defined by the Red Sox-Yankees rivalry, especially the late 90s, early 2000s version of it, at least in my mind, that we grew up with. And I'm not going to lie, it was super fun growing up on the, as all my friends will tell you, the wrong side of the rivalry being a Yankees fan. So, I will say also, the Yankees just do need a World Series because the Red Sox have like 2 or 3 since the last time we won one, and that just can't stand. Right? Because the Red Sox have 13 and 18, right?
Yep.
So I need the Yankees to get another one because 27 is a good number, but 28 is an even better number. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Also, I really want Aaron Judge to have a World Series title. Like, I think that'd be huge for his career. He's already shown to be one of the better players ever. But I would love for him to get that World Series ring and just be able to kind of add that to his resume for a potential Hall of Fame when he retires. Which, honestly, at this moment, I don't think he's a Hall of Famer. I think he's a guy you'll talk about and be like, wow, I'm kind of shocked he's not in the Hall of Fame when he eventually retires. Like, pretty sure Jim Edmonds isn't in the Hall of Fame. He might be. But I look at players like that like, you're like, I don't actually know if they're in the Hall of Fame. And those are the sort of players that I look at, and I'm like, that sucks. Like, you're just good enough to not be in the Hall of Fame.
So Barry Bonds should be in there.
No, he used drugs.
You're admitting an error at baseball when you do that. As controversial as it may be,
you're not wrong.
So we have a game.
So if you want me to
history of a game, you got to do the whole thing.
So if you want my actual take on Barry Bonds and the Hall of Fame, here's what I think about it. You can say, no, you're completely off base. I think Barry Bonds should be in the Hall of Fame the same kind of way Shoeless Joe Jackson's in the Hall of Fame. Like, they acknowledge the 8 men out, the Black Sox scandal of 1919. They acknowledge it happened. It was bad. These are the players that kind of fucked over baseball, right? I think Barry Bonds and like Jose Canseco and those sort of players should be in the Hall of Fame in the same sort of vein. Like, these were the steroid guys. They're the ones that really like kind of fucked over baseball as a whole. Because at the end of the day, in the late 19 teens, early 1920s, it was gambling in baseball that was fucking the game. In the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, it was steroids that was fucking the game. And the next era that is going to be that kind of messing with the game, kind of ruining the sanctity of it as a whole is the pitch clock. Did you like that there? You didn't see that coming, did you?
Yeah.
To be fair, I actually kind of like the pitch clock, and I kind of hate it at the same time.
It's a love-hate. I'm not going to lie.
I think I'm just getting used to it, though. I think I'm just as adverse to change as most people, so that's something I'm willing to admit to myself.
This is one of those things with time. I think it'll get normalized, but I think if you're still adjusting to it, it's just one of those things that just takes a minute.
I like I said, in general, I like the pitch clock. I think it has its place. I would like to see a slightly longer pitch clock at the MLB level, but keep it short at the minor league level, because I think it's going to be good for developing players as a whole. But again, that's like kind of a slightly wild take. So I think we'll transition to an even more wild take. So I know you saw. I tried out the new Among Us style game, and we're gonna call it the Among Us style game because that's apparently a category of game now. That Dale and Dawson's Stationary Supply game. I played it this weekend. I've honestly played like 15 hours of it since I bought the game for $8.34 after tax. It really does look. I'm pretty sure you said it the best. You said it kind of looks like Among Us meets Minecraft, and it's placed in the world of The Office. I'm pretty sure that was the exact take you had right before we went live.
Yep.
And the thing about it is that's exactly it. I love that kind of like social deduction game. I'm crappy at those social deduction games, for the record. But I like it because like it's fun. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, as someone that is a salesman and my everyday life is selling. Granted, I sell sport. It's funny, like, seeing the things they did and like what the quote unquote slackers do and how the manager has to deal with all that crap and everything. And it's just like one of those things where I genuinely enjoyed the like 10 hours. Actually, I can tell you, I'll pull up my Steam right now and tell you how many hours I have in that stupid game. Mind you, I bought this game on Friday. Dale and Dawson Stationary Supply. I've played 11 hours. I have 5 of the 7 achievements. And I'm all about achievements here.
You know what? Are you a perfectionist when it comes to achievements?
I try to. I'm not going to lie. Certain games. Like, that one has like 7 achievements. So, dude, I'll try to get them all. The 2 achievements I need is I have to be promoted to the second in command in the office. The right lobby will get me that one. And then win as a slacker. Again, the right lobby will get me that one. I've actually achieved some of the harder ones already, in my opinion. So, it's an interesting game, to say the least. It's fun. Again, it's a very social game. I'm probably going to play more of it tomorrow because why not? It's a good change of pace. I haven't really dove deep into Madden yet this year. That is coming. The little bit I have played, I've loved. And then NHL. 10 days from now, I can start playing NHL.
I got to get Madden, so I might have to install that tonight. Start playing Madden.
And then NHL comes out in 10 days for the pre-order, so you'll get my my honest initial opinions on the a calendar will help. So the 27th, 28th it comes out. So on our last Wednesday pod, the 2nd of October, because I guess we'll announce this now, we'll be moving to Thursdays starting the 10th of October. Is that correct, Alex?
I got to see. I got to put in the request for it.
Oh, I thought you had already put it in.
So I'll do that.
Okay, so our goal is to move to Thursday starting the 10th of October.
Yep.
We'll obviously keep it updated via X and all of the socials. We'll put it there. I'll actually put something in my Twitch bio about when I stream what, as I get my life kind of together. And yeah, that's just kind of where we're sitting right now. I'm enjoying it. I'm super looking forward to NHL being full next year, this coming year. I know it stinks for you because you're still on the PS4.
Yeah.
But the Xbox life is calling you, sir.
Once we get where we need to be, we'll be making the purchases.
You can join me on the side of Team Xbox. Go back to your roots. Because I know you play NCAA 14 on your F360. So.
Sure can.
That generation of games was the best. The last couple years of the 360 generation, I think you had your best sports games too. I'll make that take right now. I got back into the NHL series in NHL 11, so NHL 11 through 14, some of my favorite games. Madden was Madden, but those were some of the more fun Madden games. Original Madden 25 with Barry Sanders on the cover, because that was the old gen at the time, because the newer gen was Ray Lewis was the cover athlete, I believe. I could be wrong. But that generation, MLB 2K 2012, one of my favorite games. I actually have played so many hours of that game, it's not even funny. And then FIFA, that was when I peaked in FIFA, when for like 5 years straight Messi was on the cover, or it felt like it was 5 years straight. It was probably only like 2 or 3. But that's definitely, like, I just have so much nostalgia for that. It also was the end of high school for me, so that's also probably where you peak at video gaming in general. Again, my opinion. You could look at me and be like, dude, you're full of shit. And that's fine. What is your shirt, Alex? I've just been reading the label here thing.
It's Nike Moving Company.
It's like a Nike running shirt.
I think it's more, but yes, technically.
I think it's funny. It looks like a package, and I thought it was funny. But yeah, I guess we'll get into the last thing of the night. Pick them for week 2. Week 3, but our week 2 pick them. I am currently down 2 points to you on the season, because I want to keep it season tally and see who is better throughout the year. I think that'll be fun. So currently I'm 7-9 and you're 9-7. So let's kick us off with Monday night. That's Jets Patriots, right? I think that's the only game I know. It's the Patriots. I'm actually gonna say it's the Patriots, and it's not because I don't think the Jets are good. I actually think the Patriots might be decent.
I'm going to take the Jets here. I think Rodgers can.
Trust me, I'm not hating on the Jets whatsoever. I really think the Patriots might actually be decent this year.
That last game, how they played the last 2 weeks is kind of proving that, though.
That's the point. Like, they're a lot better than I thought they were going to be. So, you know what? I'm going to ride their winning streak until they well, I know they lost in overtime, but I'm going to ride they're not losing in regulation until it happens, right?
Yeah, and then I'm just going to take I still like Aaron Rodgers enough to root for him on the Jets, but
I do too, and I think Sauce Gardner's fantastic. But
Breece Hall, baby.
They have a lot of good pieces on the Jets.
Pats for you. The New York Jets of New Jersey for me.
The New York Jets of New Jersey for you. That was the only game I knew off the rip. I also know the Monday night game, but we'll do that one last.
If you pull up the sheet,
I'm
going to read them off.
Did you put it on the sheet?
No. It's the same sheet.
Oh, you put it on the actual. I got it. Give me a second.
Yeah, so I'm just yeah.
Maybe I should look at our picks sheet. Imagine if we did a thing. All right. Chargers Pitt. You know what? I hate myself for saying this. I really do, but I think the Steelers are going to win that game. And I know you're riding with your squad.
Have to. They're still the same offense as last year, where they can't figure out what the end zone is, but I'll take what I can get with them at this point.
Houston, Minnesota. I'm going to obviously I see all your picks. I'm going to go Minnesota. I really don't think Houston's defense is better than Minnesota's defense, and I think that's what this game comes down to. Who has the better defense?
Their defense is good, though.
I'm not saying it's not good. Give me the Saints. I'm riding the Saints to be the best team in the NFL this year. So.
Yeah, and I think A.J. Brown's absence will be a noted.
This is a very difficult one for me, the Denver and Tampa game, because obviously I'm a huge Baker Mayfield fan, as you know. And I think Tampa is very good. But Russell Wilson gave me the greatest meme of all time. Broncos country, let's ride. So I'm going to ride with Broncos country until they inevitably just keep letting me down every week. Green Bay, Tennessee, in Nashville. Give me the Titans. I know
I'm gonna stick with Green Bay because their center decided to projectile all over the ball, and they still won.
That is a good point. The Giants and the Browns. Give me Cleveland. I love my Brownies. They showed me something this past week against Jacksonville, and it was that they'll bend but not necessarily break.
Also, Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones should not be playing professional football.
I'm not going to comment on that myself because I don't know, but they did lose to the Commanders. That is factually accurate. Chicago and Indy. I'll take Indy. Now, this is one that you're going to look at and you're going to say, you're insane. But Carolina named a new starting quarterback today, or this week, the other day. So I'm going to actually go with the Panthers versus the Raiders because I think the Raiders are good. I think the Raiders are very good. I think Andy Dalton is still Andy Dalton, and he's going to do something oddly surprising, and we'll all think he's going to be relevant again for like 10 minutes. And that's what this week's going to be.
He's the best ginger quarterback in the NFL.
I also think that that's just a thing in the NFL where you're a veteran quarterback, you're somewhere kind of random, and you have like a sprinkling of being really good. I think he's going to do the Ryan Fitzpatrick, where he'll just be really good for like a couple random weeks throughout the year. And I'm just hoping that this is one of those weeks. Miami and Seattle. Who is the Dolphins' backup quarterback? I actually don't know.
Is it Skylar Thompson or something?
So, assuming Tyreek plays, and assuming everyone else plays, I think knowing that Tua's not there at all and they have the whole week to get kind of accustomed to the new quarterback, give me Miami. Baltimore, Dallas. I'm actually going to say I think the Ravens played really well last week, despite taking an L to, I don't actually know who it is because we deleted out the matchups. Like I said, we caught the end of the game. We both watched the last play, but it was, give me Baltimore. I don't like the Dallas Cowboys. I I don't like their prospects of a win, rather.
So I'm gonna switch that one over too.
Really?
Yeah, I trust them at all.
I sold you on the Baltimore Ravens. I hope we
Yeah.
both feel dirty inside for that.
I mean, it's better than picking the Cowboys, but
Detroit and the Cardinals. Detroit's really, really good. But the Cardinals looked really, really good last week. At least the fantasy football stats told me they looked really good last week. I'll take the Cardinals.
I'll ride with the Lions, man.
All right. 49ers, Rams. Give me the Rams. I really think the Rams are the better team. Although we both picked San Francisco last week, and they showed enough.
Not bad. I mean, I think the Niners are better off to succeed without their top players.
Fair, but I'm still gonna go Rams. Kansas City's gonna win that game. Atlanta's fine.
So there's 2 Monday nights this week.
Okay, so Atlanta's a Monday. That actually does change things a little bit. Because assuming it's Monday night in Buffalo, I'm assuming that you have it home away. So it's first, and that's at the city. That's what I was using to make my basis of picks. So I kind of hope that that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
I'm going to say I think Buffalo is incredibly good, especially in Buffalo. And at night, yeah, it's only September, but it still could get cold as shit. And then Washington and Cincinnati. I'm going to make the exact same take I made about the Bengals game last week. If this game was like week 8, it would be a no-brainer who I'd take. But I think until the Jamar Chase deal is done and T. Higgins is back, I think he's the one that's out. I think those are two of the biggest factors. I think you're going to see the Washington Commanders take a win. And I'm not saying like, well, the Bengals only lost by 1 point to the Chiefs, so they should clearly walk away with it. But I really think Washington is gonna, again, if it was week 8, I'd be all on the Bengals train. I think after week 4 or 5, I'm gonna be kind of picking them to win, except for when they play Cleveland. Are there any I want to change? You know what? I'm gonna change my Chargers pick. My Pittsburgh Chargers. I'm gonna say I think the Chargers. I think LA is gonna get a clean sweep this weekend. And actually, I think New York is gonna get clean swept. New York of the New York teams of New Jersey getting a clean swept.
Well, you're taking the.
Because I have both the Chargers and the Rams winning, and I have the Jets and the Giants losing.
Yeah.
So I have LA getting a clean sweep and the New York football teams of New Jersey getting clean swept. Watch, one of these games is going to end in a tie, and it's going to be just a nightmare.
Better bet on that.
What?
Better bet on that.
I might. I've been known to gamble from time to time. Usually with food I've left out for too long, but still eat it anyway.
The wife better not be happy about that.
Oh, the girlfriend definitely is not happy when I do that. But Alex, I think that's a solid place to end it for the night.
Yeah, I think we'll get this. We'll post the picks on the socials tonight, or first thing in the morning, one of the two.
With our current records.
Yeah, we'll get the full pod up for tomorrow, let's say. Or do you want to push that to Friday?
No, tomorrow's fine. Actually, let's push it to Friday because that'll be kind of the first part of the transition towards the Thursday night pods, right?
And then I think shorts will be as I can get them out. So if that's 2 a week, it's 2 a week. If it's more, it's more. So
yeah, and I mean, I think certain weeks we'll have just more content.
Yeah.
Because again, as I don't know if they know, we literally are the only two that do the stuff for this. Like, this is what we do on our free time besides our jobs. Like, obviously, I know you're still job hunting, trying to get back into working on the professional sports.
I mean, I'm in it just in a very indirect way. And I think I kind of like.
You want to get back to the team side, though. And I think that's kind of what we're.
That's the goal. Get back to the team side, but with what I'm up to on the side right now, I can't complain about who I'm working for. So,
no, and I think being someone that works in minor league hockey and does the selling, you'll notice it as we get closer, more into the season. Like, you'll see me starting to drag ass more, for lack of a better term, and that's just because I want to put as much into this as I can. I want to put as much into my regular streaming as I can, but it's just really hard with how demanding sports are as an industry in season. And because unlike other jobs, you get an off season, so you get a point where it just falls off the ladder for a little while. So. But I'm looking forward to it. Hockey season is upon us, and that's one of my favorite things. I kill for hockey season every year. The fact that training camps have started, I can kind of start looking at people and be like, all right, you're going to be good this year. You're going to be less than good this year. And again, I'm judging you as an armchair analyst. I can't play the game. I can't play it half as good as these people. I can't imagine what it's like to be half as good as these guys. Or girls when we talk about the PWHL. You
haven't seen that. You haven't seen that video. Go check that out.
Yeah, like how I did that. I referenced our most recent reel.
Yeah, no, that reel's not doing so bad, honestly.
I think the PWHL is such a hot topic right now too.
Yeah.
I think we hit the Jamar Chase thing right when it hit, right? Like,
yeah, and then we're gonna hit the Tua thing. It's still going on. So
the PWHL thing, it's also just straight up an opinion. Oh, these are the 6 teams. This is my opinion. Like, disagree with me if you want. That's cool. Like, I want to hear your opinions. I genuinely do. We read all the comments on the TikToks and Instagram stuff, and you
do we respond? No.
We respond up here and sometimes here, but not on the keyboard.
I think I responded once because it was somebody like.
But
they were trying to troll him. Like, then I just said what I threw a Jamar quote at him, and
no, and I think we're getting better at that and just doing what we can do. On that note, Alex, anything else you want to leave for the peoples tonight?
No, I think we covered everything, honestly.
Alrighty, well, have yourself a great night, and we'll be back around 7 next Wednesday.
Yes, sir.